Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe. Welcome to all for this session on Ganesha Purana to chapter 40. In the previous chapters, we were hearing the story of Asura called as Tripura, who was the son of Gritsamada. He born when Gritsamada sneezed. Basically, he born as part of blessings by Lord Gajanana that his son, Gritsamada's son, will going to be famous in all three worlds, and he will subjugate all the demigods and rule over the three worlds. As per the boon given after Tripura was born, he is also given with the same single syllable and six syllable mantra of Gajanana by Gritsamada, Rishi Gritsamada. And with that, he performed austerities and he recited that mantra for several years and had got the vision of appearance of Gajanana. Gajanana granted him the boon to rule over all the three worlds. And with that, the Demon Tripura became very powerful. And with his army, he conquered many kings. And then, with the intention to win over the heaven and to capture Amaravati from Indra, he divided his army into three different parts, and one part with one of his assistant known as Bhimakaya. He asked him to rule over the entire visible world called as Bhuloka. And the other part of the world, under the leadership of another assistant, Vajradhamshtra, he went on to win over the nether worlds, that means the Patala Loka. And with the other one third of the army, the demon Tripura went on to heaven to the Swarga of Indra and captured that. And Indra could not able to withstand fighting with him, and finally Tripura threw him away and captured the Amaravati and started ruling all the triple worlds from Amaravati. He just didn't stop at that stage. Brahma continued the story. After he had seized the god's residence called as Amaravati, the demon went to the Brahma's heaven, that is the Brahma Loka. But having already heard from Agni about the courage shown by the demon, Brahma went to Vishnu, who was at the ocean of milk, that's a Ksheera. The demon had two sons called the Chanda and Chanda, who were born from his mind. Now that Brahman has captured both the Brahmaloka as well as the Vishnuloka known as Vaikunta in that milky ocean, so he installed Prachanda as overlord in Brahma's world and then made Chanda the lord in the Vishnu's world. Then he himself went to Kailasa, the location, the residence of Shiva, and shook it with his forearm. Terrified with fear, Parvati, the mountain's daughter, embraced Shiva tightly. But Mahadeva was pleased at the way Parvati hugged him, and because of that reason, he was also pleased with the demon's courage that he could able to shake the entire Kailasa. So, being one who confers happiness upon his own devotees, he went outside to grant a boon to Tripura. So he said to Tripura, choose a boon, I'll give you the boon. So then Tripura asked him, if you are pleased, give me this Kailasa now, and you leave this Kailasa and go straight to the top of Mandara mountain. That is my wish. So Shiva temporarily gave up Kailasa, handed it over to Tripura, and the Shiva, the mountain dweller, himself went to Mandara mountains with his horse. Atop the peak of Kailasa, a demon Tripura was sitting with ecstasy. Having brought the gods into subjection, so under his subjugation, in this way he returned to the underworld and on earth. The powerful Bhimakaya forcibly brought the kings into subjection and feted all the sages. He quickly smashed all the fire hose, basically the Yagnakundas. He smashed all the Yagnakundas because by performing Yagna, the Swaha Shakti, with that they were sending the required energy and power which will going to enforce or which will going to make the gods powerful. So because of that reason, he smashed all those Yagnakundas so that none of the Yagnas can be performed. The hermitages as well the sacred spots. He harassed the ascetics by putting them into a place of confinement and utterly arrogant. He was constantly hostile towards men of good conduct, towards those who utter the exclamations of Swaha, Swadha, and Vasat. These are the mantra endings, and with those mantra endings, the Havis was given to the specific god. So that was the source of energy for the gods. So he had stopped all those people who were uttering the mantras that were ending with Swaha Swada. And for your information, Swaha is a mantra that is used in the Yagnas when that Havis is given to the gods. In the same way, Swadha is the end of a mantra that was used in the Pitrakaryas when Pinda Pradana is made to the Pitra Devatas. And then Vajradamshra brought us one who has gone to the netherworlds to capture all the Patala Lokas, brought the seven hells, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Patala, Talatala, Rasatala, all those seven hells into subjection. And he also brought Shesha, Vasuki, Takshaka, the serpent gods, and all the snakes, both poisonous and non poisonous, under his control. Vajradamshra then coiled up Ratnajata and sent him away. One another serpent. For amusement and pleasure, he dallied lustfully with the snake maidens. While he experienced this carnal enjoyment with those snake maidens, he gathered many kinds of jewels and precious things and sent them all to Tripura, the demon. Then, while he was declaring loudly that the hells had been brought under control, he acquired many servants, villages, valuable clothes, and an excessively high opinion of himself. And after he had brought the triple world into subjection, in this way the demon Tripura rejoiced. Day after day, now dwelling in caves, all the demigods wondered, how will the death of Tripura happen? Who will going to kill him? We do not know why and from whom he obtained his boon. Not all demigods were aware of who Gajanana is, Parabrahma. Excellent sage, this story was told by Brahma to Vyasa, so he is addressing him, O excellent sage. All the gods being confused about this. At the same time, Narada came there while he was wandering freely over the triple world. When he saw the miserable gods, he descended from the atmospheric path, and on seeing him, they all stood up out of respect, and in turn they bowed to him, embraced him, and honored him. While he was resting, they questioned him about Tripura because they wanted to know how this demon got created, how he got into this world, and from whom he got the boon, so that he could able to subjugate all the three worlds and not just all the triple worlds, the heaven, the uh, Bhu Pradesha, as well as the nether worlds, the Patala. So he not only captured all these three, he also captured the Satyaloka of Brahma, he captured Kailasa of Shankara, as well the Vaikunta from Vishnu. So the gods asked Narada, Tripura has conquered the triple world, both moving and unmoving. He seized our homes and defeated Brahma and Shiva. To whom shall we now turn for refuge now? So who will going to take care of us? How will he die, and who gave him such kind of a boon? O Narada, please tell us about Tripura, the demon. So Narada went on telling them about how Tripura became so powerful. I will tell you in full the extensive activities of the demon. For 1,000 years he performed severe austerities, and then he propitiated the Lord Ganesha, the leader of all the gods. Lord Ganesha gave him some boons which could not be warded off and which were terrifying to everyone. With the sole exception of the mighty Shiva, he was given safety from the deceased ancestors, that is, the Pitra Devatas, the sages, gods, Pishachas, Rakshasas, Yakshas, and snakes, the different tribes we were living at that time. So none of them could able to capture him except Shiva. Everyone must respectfully propitiate and strive to win the favor of Lord of Gods, Gajanana and Vignesha, who gives every success. So then now the only God who can help them out, because Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they were all won over by Tripura. So the only God who gave him the boon was the Duradanana, Vignesha. So the gods asked him, how can one win the favor of that wise God of the gods? O sage, kindly tell us what should be done. So Narada explained to them, I'm going to declare, or I'm going to tell you a mantra of 10 syllables to everybody, and you should perform a personal devotion with this mantra that I have devotedly given to all of you. You must all be steadfast in mind, and as soon as Lord Gajanana or God Gananayaka become visible to you, you will going to tell him about all the way whatever has happened, and he will and ask him to kill that demon. You must follow my advice, as I cannot see any other way for our survival. Brahma continued the story. The sage Narada, who was addicted to the sound of lute, left immediately after he had said this, and all those excellent gods became engaged in meditation on Ganesha. Some stood on one foot, some remained in the lotus position, some were in the heroic position, and others had their eyes closed. Fasting and controlling their breaths, they muttered, they keep on repeating, reciting the mantra, the 10 syllable mantra that the sage has uttered. Then, after a considerable time had passed, and having observed that the god's personal devotion had continued for a long time, Gajanana, ocean of compassion, Ganapa, the giver of boons, manifested himself before them. He was adorned with pretty earrings and wore a diadem, the crown of flashing gold. His tongue was resting on his tusks. He wore a beautiful armlet and a shining hip girdle, and in his arms he carried a rope, an elephant goad, an axe, and a lotus. He was ornamented with a vermilion moon and musk of red sandalwood. He was shining splendidly like flashing lighting his splendor like that of a myriad of suns. After seeing this salubrious god Vinayaka, all the gods were overpowered by his splendor, yet nobody was frightened after seeing Gajanana. Some of the gods instantly bowed before Dhiradanana, while others honored him, their voices faltering with joy, and to remove their distress, some eulogize the God who removes the difficulties, the God whose pleasant face is tranquil. So all the gods started eulogizing Gajanana. Obeisance, obeisance to you, those form is the supreme truth. Obeisance, obeisance to you, the cause of everything. Obeisance, obeisance to you, the creator of everything. To you who resides in all the senses, obeisance. Let there be obeisance to you who consists of beings. Obeisance, obeisance to you who creates beings and the Lord of gods. Obeisance, obeisance, you who understands all wisdom. Obeisance, obeisance to the cause of the universal dissolution. Obeisance, obeisance to the maintainer of everything, O Lord of all. Obeisance, obeisance to the cause of causes. Obeisance, obeisance to one who appears to those who know the Vedas. That's the people who are knowledgeable one, the scholars. Obeisance, obeisance to the one who gives all boons. Obeisance, obeisance to you who are word and reflection. Obeisance, obeisance to the remover of obstacles. Obeisance, obeisance to the one who destroy the wishes of non-devotees. Obeisance, obeisance to the knower of your devotees' wishes. Obeisance, obeisance to the Lord of devotees' wishes. Obeisance, obeisance to the expert in arranging the whole universe. Obeisance, obeisance to the causes of demon's destruction. Obeisance, obeisance to the remover of difficult situation. Obeisance, obeisance to the most supreme amongst the compassionate. Obeisance, let there be obeisance to you who are knowledge. Obeisance, obeisance to the destroyer of ignorance. Obeisance, obeisance to the destroyer of non-devotees' power. Obeisance, obeisance to the liberator of devotees. Obeisance, obeisance to the binder of non-devotees. Obeisance, obeisance to whose image takes various forms. Obeisance, obeisance to the organ of understanding the part of reality. Obeisance, obeisance to the preeminent knower of the parts of reality. Obeisance, obeisance to you who is the witness of all actions. Obeisance, obeisance to you who guide qualities. But why we need to repeat that word obeisance, obeisance in the beginning of explaining the quality of the Supreme Lord Gajanana? This is the way prayer is recited. By saying obeisance, first we subjugate ourselves, and unless and until we subjugate ourselves to the higher supreme deity, we ourselves, our own ahankara, our pride will never come down unless and until that pride comes down and we bow down to the supreme deity, things will not going to happen. Why the things do not happen? Things keep on happening, but because of our self pride, We ourselves become an obstacle in good in the happening of good things. To avoid we ourselves becoming an obstacle in the happening of good things, it is better always to subjugate ourselves. And the way we can subjugate ourselves is by expressing our obeisance to the higher supreme deity. Brahma said, Brahma, who is explaining this story, in this way the gods eulogized the god, the Lord Dviradanana. Utterly delighted, he spoke. Lord Dviradanana, Gajanana, delighted, he spoke excitedly to the excellent gods. Ganesha said, I have achieved complete satisfaction with your eulogy and austerities. O gods, I am going to give you everything you ask for. Therefore, choose what you want to have. Oh, all the gods. So this is what told by Ganesha. And then the gods asked him, if you are satisfied, O Lord of the gods, kill the demon Tripura, because after having seized the offers proper to us, he is standing, he is after seizing the offices which are managed by us. That means there were Dikpalakas who were managing the different directions. There was Varuna who was managing the water sources. There was Agni who was the god of the fire, who was managing all the sources of energy. So all those officers were captured by Tripura. He is standing firm. You gave him safety from the entire collection of immortals, as a consequence of which we have fallen into this difficult situation because the Lord Gajanana gave him the boon that he cannot be won over by any of the demigods. Not just that, even Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara cannot defeat him, except for Shiva, that too in a particular specific way. Free us from this difficult situation immediately, as we have come to you alone for refuge. And this is our only request. Ganesha, on hearing the request, he told to all the gods, I will certainly bring an end to all your cheers of this dreadful demon. This eulogy you have performed has brought me much pleasure, and so it will become celebrated as the remover of distress. It gives every desire to those men who recite it and hear it, and whoever recites it at the three divisions of the day, they will never experience any distress. Thus ends the 40th chapter of Upasana Khanda of the glorious Ganesha Purana, where the gods eulogize the god of the Lord of the gods, Gajanana. So, in this way, in this chapter, we heard that Tripura had captured even had won over even Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and seeing this, the gods have really felt being completely lost and having no one to save them. So then, at that time, Narada came down from the heaven and they all asked him, what is the way they can kill or they can finish the demon Tripura? At that time, Narada told them the story of Tripura, how he got this boon from Lord Gajanana. So now it's only the Lord Gajanana who can save them. And he gave them the 10 syllable mantra and asked them to keep repeating that mantra, recite that mantra, and then please Lord Gajanana, with that the Gajanana will going to appear before them. Gods followed his instructions, and then Lord Gajanana gave his appearance and he appeared before all the demigods. So then gods asked him only one wish to put an end to the tyranny of Lord Jaman Tripura. At that time, Lord Gajanana told that he will take care of the problems and the issues and he will put an end to it. And at the same time, whatever eulogy that was expressed by the gods, in which they completely, all the demigods subjugated themselves to the Lord of God, Lord, or God of the gods. So, because of that reason, one who repeats that eulogy at in the morning, early morning when the sun rises, and in the mid of the day when the sun is exactly at the center of the sky, and in the evening when the sun is setting, at these three sandhya period, at that time usually our breathing as well our senses will be in a equilibrium or a balanced state. It is at that time if we could able to subjugate ourselves to the supreme deity, then all our obstacles, all our problems, all our issues will be removed and we will be liberated. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.